Welcome to Sports Extra, your premium online sports show. I'm your host, Ruimbo Chagoreka. Today, I do have a guest in studio. He's finally gotten over wallowing about Liverpool losing in the Champions League final. I mean, hey, just get over it. My guys. It happens to the very best of us. And don't forget to like, to share, to comment, to subscribe to all of our content on our YouTube channel, Sports Extra ZW, as well as our social media handles. That's on Facebook and Instagram at Sports Extra Zim. And remember, the extra is without an E. So what do we have for you today? Well, we're going to be talking about cricket. Yeah. For Zimbabwe cricket lovers, I don't think it's the best of times right now. Whitewash is loading for the T20 International Series. It loaded quite a while back with the ODI series against Afghanistan. We lost against Namibia, so questions are coming over the coach. Then we're also going to take a look at schoolboy rugby. Yes, it was match day 5 in the schoolboy rugby season, and wow, we had some crackers of games. But here was an interesting statistic. All of the teams that went away actually won. And one of them celebrated after the match. There were people who doubted us.
Whose house, boy? Whose house? This is your house, isn't it? Yes. Hey, you are. Daddy!
Well, of course, they continue to howl and growl and do the business. But more about what we're talking about, we've got the Sables team announcement that will be going to do business in the Rugby Africa Cup, which is also being used as World Cup qualifiers for the 2023 Rugby World Cup, which will be played in France. Questions, big questions about a number of names that are missing there. And then, of course, finally, we're going to look at some international cricket. How does South Africa dominate in India? How does that happen? Well, we're going to be discussing all that and more right here. And I'll be introducing our guest as we get into our first discussion. All right, so let's talk Zimbabwe cricket. I have in studio with me one who is not a stranger here on Sports Extra, Sydney Sawanu. Sydney, great to have you. And I'm sure you're now over Liverpool losing to Real Madrid. First
and foremost, I'm not really a guest. I'm your resident sports analyst. Number one. Number two, actually, we lost to a better team, but we tried our best. Look, we had over 14 shots on target. Mo Salah just failing to score the goal. But look, we are not bitter because we know that next season we're going to come back stronger. And
that's we're going what to we used to say.
Darwin Benfica from Benfica, so watch out for that.
You see, that's what we used to say as Manchester United up until we realized that Atichato Gonibora. But in any case, let's go straight into the matters at hand. Right, our chevrons loading another whitewash against Afghanistan. They lost the ODI series, whitewashed in that one. Clearly outplayed in all three. A couple of sparks here and there from some of our players, but just not enough to get the W. And then we go into the T20 series. We had back-to-back matches, Saturday and Sunday. Both of them we lost. And Afghanistan are definitely smiling all the way up the ICC World Cup Super League table. Is it now time for us to consider Lalchand Rajput to maybe be sacked from the job and maybe look for a different coach? So clearly with Lalchand Rajput, his record has not been great. He's got less than a 20% win rate as he has been working with the Chevrons. having been in a press conference with him, Sydney. It's not working.
Yeah, this could be the worst record ever by Zimbabwe in terms of international cricket. Look, the red lights, I saw them when we lost against Namibia, 3-2. Guys, how do you lose to Namibia? Cricket. We used to be ranked second here in Africa, but now it seems as if we've given up that sport, and we're saying Namibia, there you go. Yeah. And look, guys, really, you need to pick up your socks and go out there and play and win. I know there could be some problems. Well, there have been rumors that there are some things that are going on in dressing room, but those things need to be addressed, because the bigger picture is, let's play and put our nation up there. We can't be losing to Namibia, guys, and also losing to Afghanistan. I remember back in 2007, 2008, 2009, we never used to struggle against minor teams like Afghanistan. Those they would come and would give them our under 19, under 23 boys. Just, you know what, guys, go out there, have some fun, go and just play and express yourselves, and would get some huge results. And now we're now losing to Afghanistan 5-0. I'm not happy as a cricket fan. I'm not happy as a sports analyst. You're embarrassing us, guys, to be honest.
All right, but let's put things in perspective. Afghanistan have put all of the necessary developmental structures in place. They are playing cricket pretty much throughout the year for 12 months. I know Zimbabwe cricket have now advanced into that space where now we'll be playing cricket more regularly on the domestic scene. We've got the NPL, we've got our franchise cricket that's there. We've got, we've got all these things that they are now setting in place. But the results of maybe what they're putting in place now will only come close to 5 years time. But we don't have 5 years, because Craig Irvine is around about 34, 35. Yeah. We've got Sikandar Raza, who's around about 36 or edging on into 37. We've also got Sean Williams, who we're saying hopefully if he comes back into the squad, but he's also within his 35, 36 years of age. All of our top players are now at the zenith, or what we would say at the twilight years of their career. And many of the youngsters that are coming in were immediately putting them under pressure. Wesley Madevere is now opening the batting. That, I think, is a very bad idea from the coaching staff. And we've got Milton Shumba, we've got Tadiwa Nashe Marumani, who's also being forced into an opening role. Yet we know when he played in high school cricket, he was falling within the middle order. Yeah. And so now it would have needed some of the senior players to step up and say, okay, I'll open for the sake of protecting this youngster so that I can be there when he comes onto the pitch and then he's batting. So in my view, I think the steps have been taken in the right direction, and Afghanistan can no longer be called minnows. Here's why I say so. Number one, they've got 5 players in the IPL. We've got 5 players. You've got one who was a net bowler. And no disrespect to Blessing Muzarabani. He is an amazing cricket player, but he was a net bowler. He didn't get to play a match. Afghanistan have got an IPL winner in Rashid Khan, who was arguably in the top 5 in terms of the wicket takers. You've got Mohammad Nabi. The wealth of experience is ridiculous. He's played all across the world in T20 leagues. You've got Najibullah Zadran, Hazratullah Zazai, of which Najibullah Zadran, I think, only played around about 1 or 2 matches, and then the rest of the time he was chilled on the bench. Why? Because the youngsters were doing the job. So they've got a fan belt or conveyor belt right now, which is just spewing out players that are then able to step up on the international scene. So I don't think we can even be put in the same conversation with Afghanistan right now.
The challenge that we have here as Zimbabwe, we are losing so many players. Yesterday, I was talking to this other coach, and he showed me a youngster who's playing in UK with exceptional statistics. The first game that he played, he took 4 wickets, and his economy was at around 480. The second game, the game that he played, he took 3 wickets, his economy was at 1.4. So we are not returning youngsters. This is just one youngster. We've got a couple of youngsters who are playing in Australia. We've got a couple of youngsters who are playing in, if I'm not mistaken, Pakistan, in the lower leagues. But we are not retaining talent. And locally, there isn't much happening, because what we are doing is just we are rotating the same players. So what we need to do right now is to contract some of these internationally experienced coaches even ex-players, just to come in and coach at franchise level and also go down to coach at under 14s, under 15s, and get some of these internationally exposed coaches to coach at high school, because it is important to get those players to progress, to the national team and try to get this mess out of our way so that we can attract those youngsters back. Because look, already we say that we have lost Gary Balance. We've got two players currently who are in the Australian setup, who are Zimbabwean born. We have got I know that you went to school with him, the gentleman who's playing for New Zealand.
Oh, Colin de Grandam, yes.
Yes, and he smiles. Look, so we just need to make our brand of cricket attractive to our local players, because right now as a fan, trust me, I didn't even bother to go and watch the game because I knew that we were going to lose. So what's the point?
All right, so let's come to the issue as we're wrapping up this issue. Lauchan Rajput, is it time for him to go? And if he is to go, here at Sports Extra, we believe in solutions. Who would be the best man to step into the shoes and take Zimbabwe out of the rut that it's currently in?
Look, I think we need someone like one of the Flower brothers. Why? Because he knows the terrain. He's played in Zimbabwe. He's played for Zimbabwe. He's coached England. Won the Ashes at some point. Won the was it the Cricket World Cup?
T20
World Cup. So we need someone like him who have respect from the players. Because as of now, I think Lauchan Rajput is losing it. I think he's losing to the dress room.
But wasn't he successful with Afghanistan?
Yeah,
Didn't he coach India? He was part of that setup.
Yeah.
So where is it? Is it not an attitude of the players? Is it not an issue whereby maybe his supporting or technical team, which has been the same, mind you, give or take from around about 2016, 2017, coming into the World Cup qualifiers, that we also lost. And then
to UAE.
By the way,
yeah.
And they've continued after that, and they've been there. They've been part of the setup. Our bowling, when it has been bad, have we called the likes of Douglas Wondo to task? When our batting has been horrible, have we called the likes of Stuart Matsikanyeri to task? I know Lance Klusner has taken over now, but did we call him to task? Our fielding, when we've been dropping catches, have we called the Shepherd Makunura to task? When in general our team performance is bad, have we called the video analyst who's hired by Zimbabwe Cricket to analyze where our boys are getting it wrong? Have we called them to task?
Look, yes, those guys need to be accountable, but at the same time, I just feel like the dress room needs a new voice. They need a new voice, starting from the franchise system going up to the national team. So it means that if it means cutting and chopping some of these guys, so that we introduce new voices, and probably they'll add on maybe to get our guys to perform in certain areas, because obviously our betting, I didn't watch a game, but I know that judging with the statistics, our betting has been poor, and obviously the bowling. The only guy who came up to the party is the tall guy, bless him, Zarabani. Rightfully so, because he has been exposed and probably got one or two things from, he learned a couple of things from India. So we just need some guys who can come in and pack in some new instructions to our boys. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to be successful this time around.
Oh yes, we would love to hear your thoughts and comments on that particular issue. So let us know, do you think Lauchan Rajput needs now to take a backseat, or rather needs to be offset totally? So let's see how all of that will come through. So when we do come back, we'll be looking at schoolboy rugby. Alrighty then, schoolboy rugby. Well, I mean, it has been an interesting season. A team almost went unbeaten, but hey, it was the Mad Dogs pit in Esigodini which brought the Rams, run to an end. But St. John's did not stop there.
Yeah.
They just picked up the issues, went to Peterhouse, coming out with a 23-17 win. in Marondera, and we're going to be discussing Peter House a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But I watched the game between St. George's and Falcon. What a spectacle. And as always, I mean, you were there watching the Johns Peter House game.
Yeah.
The atmosphere at these games.
Crazy. It's crazy.
It's
Look,
electric.
guys, right now, high school rugby is the biggest sport in Zimbabwe. I'll tell you that for a fact. You know, the crowd that is there, you know, you have people driving from all the way from Bulawayo just coming to watch a high school rugby game. You've got guys coming from Harare all the way going to Marondera just to watch a rugby game. And here in Harare, there was St. George's taking on Falcon. Guys drove from Bulawayo just to come and watch. Not to forget the other guys. You know, you have. I remember the game that I was doing commentary on. It was St. George's versus Prince Edward. You had guys from Chechu just coming to watch. You had guys from Alan Winston just coming to watch, just to show that high school rugby right now, forget soccer, forget cricket, forget any other sport. High school rugby right now in Zimbabwe is the biggest sport. And credit to the coaches because they've managed to make high school rugby very attractive because, look, very close games. There are no runaway scores except for 1 or 2 games. Yeah. But look, they are very close game. In when I was at Peter House taking on St. John's, 17-23. Very close game. 2 penalty converted points. And coming here to Harare, Falcon
and St. George's
only a 5-point game. And elsewhere, you know, CBC Prince Edward, you think that Prince Edward would run away with it, but it was only 22-7. I was told with some of the guys who watched those games, they came from Harare. They went to Bulawayo just to watch that CBC game. It was a close game, trust me. At some point it was 17-7. But you know what, Simba Kanyangara just doing his magic, scoring all the tries.
Oh, wow.
So trust me, high school rugby, thumb up to the coaches and the players. They are really committing themselves to this game. Trust me, this is just the best rugby season so far.
Oh yes, it definitely has been the best. And whilst talking about that, I went over to watch the St. George's versus Falcon game. And as he did mention, Falcon coming out with a 20 points to 15 victory. And one of the interesting things that Derek Chiwara pointed out is that, hey, Cody Grant continues to deliver.
Trust me, we're all ecstatic, we're excited. It's not easy to come out of Weaver and obviously pull off what we've just done. And like you said, Cody Grant continues to do it. The boy puts in a lot of work, and credit to him, credit to his teammates who've obviously created that situation that got him to make those kicks.
All right, one of the other important things is, goodness me, your fly-off has just kicked up another gear and is just in a different zone right now against the Rams. Others thought maybe it might have been luck, but today, once again, he showed his class.
Definitely, the boys, and trust me, we haven't seen anything as yet. This boy is obviously going to improve. There are a lot of areas that you can tell that we need to sort out. But listen, credit to him. He has totally shown us what he's capable of doing. He was there, obviously mesmerizing the crowd. But at the same time, he took us forward, which is what we needed. And credit to him and all he did for us.
All right, one of the other things is that, you've played against the 2 saints in the nation. And in general, it wasn't the best of starts to the season. But right now, it seems like the whole team now is gelling in the kind of way that you want them to.
Definitely, the team is now gelling, and we always knew we were going to struggle early on because this is a team that had a slow start in the season. But the fact that these boys have continued to believe in themselves, they continue to work, they continue to build around the team, just made this possible. So what you're seeing is a product of a solid team culture and obviously behind the scenes hard work. This is what these boys are doing right now.
Well, you get out of one challenging match, and next week there'll be more challenges. Of course, there will be a midterm break, and then you come back into it, Peter House Sevens, and then it's back into it. So it's a roller coaster ride for the season.
It is definitely a roller coaster ride of a season, and trust me, going back, we've got teams like Peter House who we're going to host, and it's definitely going to be one crack of a game. We're waiting for them in Esigodini. We also have along the way Cal College, which would also be a tough game for us, and we definitely going to host Hellenic at the end of the day before we face St. John's College to end of the season. So it's not an easy road to the end of the season, so we really have to dig deep, and pushed in more the work. And credit to St. George's, and I'll say you can only play well if a team delivers, and the opposition was on point. Credit to their mauling system. It was hard to defend. At the end of the day, it was obviously rugby that won, and credit to both teams.
I mean, the kicking from Cody Grant is
Wow.
is insane. That's what I
Wow.
can say. Insane. The young man is calm under pressure. Is delivering from distances that you would only expect an international level or at least a franchise level club rugby player would be able to execute. I mean, close to the 10-meter line from the halfway, you're talking about close to 30 to 40 meters.
40 meters,
there.
yeah.
And he's getting it in without batting an eyelid. And it comes back to what we also highlighted here last week, that 500 kicks a week in order to get him into that mindset and that mold that he can execute. But also talking about the captaincy has
Luke
been
Pritchard.
phenomenal. Young man, Luke Pritchard has been doing the business, and he also spoke to us after the match.
Yeah, you know, obviously that us from being from Falcon especially, we don't give up that easily. You know, we leave everything out on the field. As you can see today, it was a physical game, tough game, and you know, we don't give up, and it's not in our nature to give up. We just keep pushing, and yeah.
All right, one of the things that were said, particularly during the week as rugby analysts were going through it, that Falcons seem to be now coming into its own. How much do you think all of the hard work is now beginning to pay off?
It's no, definitely. You know, we've been putting in many hours of work every day, grafting, and you know, it's been paying off. We've been especially starting with John's last weekend, giving us a big confidence booster for this weekend. You know, just keep grinding, keep our heads down, keep pushing through everything that comes our way, and you know, yeah, it's paying off.
All right, one of the standout players, I mean, your vice captain there, Cody Grant, he seems to be doing it. Last week, he did it from close to the halfway line. Today, 2 amazing kicks once again. I mean, his confidence under pressure is amazing.
It's no, definitely. I mean, as I said last week, he puts in the work. You know, it's no coincidence that he's getting it. But you know, every day he's putting out. He sets his target of 500 conversions in a week, and you know, he goes out, he does it in the mornings and the afternoons. He's grafting. So it's nice to know that we have a player that we can put down under pressure and he will pull through for us.
All right, one other thing, generally now you're going into a bit of a midterm break, a bit of rest. Maybe what will be some of the conversation with the boys as well, considering that there will be some tough matches after the break is done?
Yeah, you know, obviously we can't just completely take a break, can't just stop. So I'll just tell the boys, you know, just keep fit, just keep on doing what you're doing, hit the gym. It doesn't have to be as hectic as during the term and during the week, but yeah, just keep it up so when we do come back, we're ready, we hit the ground running, ready to fight.
Well, I mean, Luke said, I told the boys we might be going for a midterm break, but guys, don't stop practicing. Let's keep the momentum going so when we come back, then we're heading straight into it, because there will be some big matches that they'll look forward to. They have to face St. John's again. They have to face Peterhouse again, and this time round it will be facing Peterhouse back in Esigodini because they did win when they went to visit Peterhouse in Marondera. But talking about a man who always smiles, even though results don't necessarily go his way, we spoke to the St. George's coach, Ricky Chirengende.
Yeah, I think it's always a tough one when you control everything and you lose. Control possession, control territory, but I think we just lacked that a little bit of composure in the final third to finish off our good work.
All right, one of the other things, it was always going to be a challenge coming up against, Luke Pritchard has really shown his class and quality throughout this season. Him at the breakdowns is always a challenge. And then, of course, their amazing scrum half who has really been doing the business for them. I mean, did you have a game plan for them?
Yeah, I think when you plan to take out good players, other players will shine around them. So I think we just concentrate on our own game. We just say we're going to play our own game and nullify them, just using the team and our processes. And to the large extent, it did work. But yeah, the 9 kicked the points that then won them the game. We missed all our points, and that's just the game.
All right. Well, it is going to be a bit of a break for you guys now, midterm break. I mean, going into the midterm break with a defeat, do you think that it will weigh much on the boys?
So in my heart at the end, I did say to the boys that yes, we're hurting and we have to hurt because we don't like losing, but we have to pick ourselves up quickly. The season is going to continue. There's big games coming in thick and fast. You know, Churchill, PE, St. John's, Peterhouse, they're all lying and waiting. So we don't have time for self-pity and wallowing. We got to pick ourselves up, you know, get better, rest our bodies, and then get back on the horse again.
So he spoke about the control.
Okay,
That
management.
I mean, he was managing the game all the way through, but you ended up losing because you made a couple of mistakes. And that is the area of fine margin, which you are talking about.
Yeah. Look, going back to the St. John's Falcon game, Falcon won it right at the death. It seems as if Falcon, they've mastered this coming back, you know, making themselves kings of comeback, or can I say the mad dogs of comeback. You know, they are doing really well. I think it comes down to the preparation that Derek Chiwara is doing with them. I mean, the endurance, the fitness, those guys can play full 80 minutes of high intensity rugby. You talk of Luke Pritchard, he's just relentless when it comes to break down ball. He's just good over the ball with good leg drive. Also good captaincy. It also comes to good decision making on the field of play. Guys, should we go for the kick or should we go for the line out? And he trusts Cody Grant to do the job, you know, just giving him that last penalty kick, adding those 3 points. Also, he did that against St. John's. He called, when I was doing commentary, I was also in a dilemma. Guys, should they go for post? Should they go for the kick? Because there was distance. So, you know, doing the great job, calling the right call, getting those three extra points. I mean, those guys are just phenomenal. I really envy what Derek Chiwara has done right now.
Oh yes, he has done absolutely amazing. But let's quickly talk about this before we wrap schoolboy rugby up and talk about the Sables, because that one is going to be quite an interesting discussion. But let's talk about some of the other smaller sides that have been doing the business whilst, you know, the focus might be on St. George's, Falcon, John's, Peterhouse, and so on and so forth. But you would say in the lower echelons of rugby, we're seeing some giants beginning to rise to the fore. So, Alan Wilson, what a spectacle so far this season. And coming through and shocking the Bulldogs on their own turf. I mean,
1824.
Yeah, and Jeff Mataki actually had to come out and say, look, you know what? No excuses. We lost. They played the better rugby on the day. How good is that for rugby?
Wow, if you were the Zim under-20 coach right now, obviously for next year, you would have some selection headaches. Even coming back to the under-18, under-19 team, you would have some selection headaches. Because why? If you look at the top, obviously your traditional rugby powerhouses, your Falcon, Peterhouse, Jones, and the like, they are guys who are playing exceptional rugby. You have, from the front rows, you've got big boys who can do proper scrummaging. You've got your inside centers, Erasmus, the young lad from St. John's. Wow. His rugby brains is on another level. And he's got a good understanding with Andy Roberts on his fly half. He can also, he's a very, very good kicker. He can kick, for touch from 22 to 22. He's very good. Also kicking for posts. His ball distribution is exceptional, and not to forget his scrum half as well. Is also exceptional. So, these guys are sport for choice. But right now, this is where we need to cash in as far as going to the. I understand that you are preparing for the Craven Week. Hopefully, that we can be able to win a couple of games, and obviously, we do have some international games that are coming up against Kenya. We just need to go out there and just win those couple of games. And make a statement to the whole world rugby fraternity. So
Alan Wilson doing absolutely well, and of course we continuously give and Sandongadzi so so the likes of Xavier Ngundo, I know is part of the technical team there, even the women's Sables coach. That is Lisi Wasarere, which is also part of the technical team there. So they are doing really well.
At St. John's.
At St. John's, Ricky Chirengede at St. George's, and of course also looking at what is happening at Falcon with Derek Chiwara. So well done to you, gentlemen. Keep pushing forward and keep making things tick. So, finally, before we do move over to the Sables announcement, I would also love to say well done to the likes of Heritage. Heritage has been doing pretty well as well. Eaglesville has been doing pretty well on the first team front. So if we have Eaglesville, Heritage, Alan Wilson, Wiseowl, which is really,
they're slowly coming up.
They're slowly coming up. If all of these now begin to elbow at the big boys table to say, look, we want a seat and we believe we belong here, that will stand in good stead for schoolboy rugby. But let's shift over to the Sables quickly. Right, so the Sables team announcement is up, and we'll just show you exactly who's in the side. So anyway, the Sables announcement is done. You saw the graphics right there. We have the team, Sydney.
Notable exclusions. Brandon Zekenyezi is not there. Michael Kumbirai, the other Mdariki brother, Farai. And a couple of guys, obviously some have missed because of injury. You've got your David Makamba, the lock from Marari Sports Club. You've got your Tsongi missing out on injury. Goofy missing out on injuries. But yeah, look, right now, there's a little that we can do, to be honest. All we can hope for is that guys, whoever got selected, okay, go out there, play and win. Okay.
You see, when Sydney actually leans into the camera, he really wants something to be done.
Yeah.
But look, I think there are still challenges, however, with the side that was chosen, and we do hope that each and every one of the Sables players will be able to represent in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But there are challenges. Some players which may not just have deserved to be in that side, or may not necessarily suit and fit where we're going to play. There have been warning shots that are being sounded that if we don't take it seriously, we could actually stop at Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire is our very first match. Now, why Cote d'Ivoire? Someone would wonder, Cote d'Ivoire, they rugby race, because what did you Drogba, Gigi Ndovan, Webora? No. Cote d'Ivoire has actually got players that are playing in France and that are playing in the lower divisions of France. And by any measure necessary, they are playing at a higher level of rugby than most of our rugby players. Now, we do know that some of our players are playing for clubs in South Africa. We do know Takuchieza is at False Bay. We've also got Tapiwa Mafura. He's also playing for Pumas, Curry Cup, Premier Division, and things like that. But you cannot rely on individuals. You need an entire team in order to make things happen.
True.
So with players of the caliber of Mudzekenyezi, even the likes of Mandivenga, even the likes of Tino Driller Mavesere, who is also missing through injury, Farai Mdariki missing through injury, and Kudakwashe Nyakufaringwa, as you mentioned before, all missing through injury. It is going to place a huge dent on the plans for the Sables to make it forward. In my view, I think it is going to be very tough for us to get past Cote d'Ivoire, let alone get past Namibia, which will clearly be waiting for us when we come through to the semi-final, because they face Burkina Faso, and we all know that our Achilles heel is Namibia. We just can't get past Namibia.
Look, Rimbo, we have had the best preparation so far. You know, guys have been battling out with the Curry Cup Division 1 teams. I believe those teams, even up to today, if they are going to play Test rugby, they'll still be competitive. So let's not be hard on our boys now. Let's give them a chance to play. Why? and obviously the technical team of Dawson and whoever is left in that technical team.
All right, so well, we do have some interesting inclusions. The under-20 squad there, Brendan Marume, he's been included, so he'll definitely add some spark. Takudzo Msingwini has been, according himself fantastically as he's been playing with a lot of maturity. A little did I know that he was left-footed, so I would love to call him the new Dan Carter, so to speak. He's left-footed. His box kicks were really good, even in the loss against the Eastern Province Elephants. He accorded himself really well. Of course, we had a couple of defensive areas that then caused us to lose.
Matthew McNabb,
he came in, he's doing really well. And then the third inclusion is Matipano. He's also coming through from the under-20 squad. So well done to Sean D'Souza. You've got some youngsters that have made it through, and they'll be playing at arguably the biggest stage of their present career right now. So we wish the Sables very well, and we'll be waiting for the results to come through. We know that they will be heading out to Netherlands for a friendly, for some test rugby to just warm up, and then from there it's a straight to France and getting the business done. Well, we'll be coming back with another story happening on the local scene, and guess what? It is a marathon. It will be the Mashwede Marathon, the inaugural Mashwede Marathon, and we do have the organizer in studio, so stay locked on. All right, so welcome back, and this time round we're talking about running, something that I need to do, as you can see. But I'm sure we'll get there in July because I'm doing a bit of that. And joining me in studio is Colin Makaza. Now, he's a two-time Two Oceans marathon winner, and believe me, Two Oceans, otherwise unodona pakati pe road. His name is Colin Makaza, and he's organizing the inaugural Mashwede Marathon. It will be taking place next weekend on the 19th of June. So make sure that you are able to come through, have some fun. There'll be lots to be done there. But Colin, thank you very much for joining us. Colin, Turugita Marathon, it's happening for the very first time. What brought it about? What was the mind behind hosting your Mashwede run?
I just want to thank Mr. Mashwede for sponsoring us for this event. We come up with this event because of drug abuse in the community, in the ghetto area. So we want to empower them through sport, so they can just do runs and win some man prizes to motivate them for doing sport more. And this is an opportunity for also the corporate to come to be on the sporting activities and being recognized. The community is like paying back to the community, which is good for Mashwede because they are also most of their business they are in the ghetto area. So I think this is a good initiative for the corporate also, even to us as prospect.
All right, so looking at it, there will obviously be different categories for all those that want to run. Is there the fun side and then the competitive side?
Yes, for fun side, we have created also a new race for the baby Nepi Dash, which is 2 years to 4 years. They are competing for 50 meters, only 50 meters. Then we also have a 5 kilometer run, which is going to be like all those people like you. Then we've got the pro, the elite one, the 10 kilometer, where they hustle it for the prize money for about $200 for the winner. Then it pays for top 5, and we have got the categories like under 20. We've got the veteran, which is 40 to 49. We've got the master, which is 50 to 59, and the grandmaster plus, which is 60 plus.
60 plus years and they're running, but at least they've made room for me, so at least I can also be there. So let's look at some of the other things that will be happening post the run. Will there also be some family activities? Kune ma water slide and please have my adult water slides, because
So this is a new thing, you know, what I'm trying to say. It's like we are planning for this thing to be a big day for Mashwede. It's like a Mashwede day, activity day. So we want to make it a variety of show, where we are also even introducing the couple run, which is you can come with your madam and participate. If you come first, you get a prize, something like a token of appreciation. So we are also trying that there's gochi there. You know, Mashwede, this is like Mafaro people.
All right, so just so that our viewers can be able to know where exactly do they assemble so that they can start the run, and what time do they need to be there so that they're able to start?
The event is starting at 8 o'clock at Mashwede village in Highfield, Budiriro area. There is a service station where you can, everything, that activity is taking place there. There is a big space for Mashwede, where is the danger club. Yeah, so this is like a ghetto thing. I hope everyone is gonna be there.
Oh yes, we're looking forward to you being there, so make sure that you do get there. As a Sports Extra, we'll be featuring some things there as well, so make sure you join us and you enjoy the Mashwede Marathon, the inaugural Mashwede Marathon on the 19th of June 2022. Well, as we're wrapping up the show, we are just going internationally and looking at what is happening. While in terms of football, don't worry, we won't talk about transfer news, because, for example, another Manchester United are now called Rumors United. Ningi has been linked to. Now, if we were linked to a player that Sydney Sound is gleefully smiling because the deal has been sealed.
It's about to be.
But so, we were linked to the guy.
Yeah, and you guys are only on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we are LinkedIn.
You're only on LinkedIn, the application, the social media application.
So we'll leave football aside and we'll talk about international cricket. Now, yesterday we did have a couple of matches that were being played. Pakistan playing against West Indies. And that one, a very interesting match indeed. But West Indies, when it went to Pakistan, Pakistan, winning my matches, because Pakistan is really dominant at home. But we look at South Africa, India, because that's where our interest actually is. It is a 5-match T20 international series, and South Africa are now leading 2-0. And both times, South Africa has been very dominant in their win. The first one, they won by 7 wickets. And then this time around, they came through a fantastic batting performance coming again from South Africa. I think they won by just about 5 wickets, if I'm not mistaken. But a fantastic performance from Henrik Klaasen, scoring just about 80 odd in that match. And then, of course, Killer Miller, as we know what he does towards the end.
Yeah.
Why is South Africa winning in India? That's my question, Sid. Why? Not how. Why?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking Indians, they feel like they're entitled to this because they host the biggest T20 tournament in the world. So I feel maybe it is got to do with complacency. But look, because you're hosting the biggest T20 tournament, that doesn't give you the right to win a match. You've got to go out there and play. I watched the first 10 overs. I think it was South Africa were bowling. Your spin bowler did a great job, by the way. It was 76 runs for the loss of 3 wickets to India. But look, I believe South Africa, they had a stellar performance. I feel that South Africa and India, it depends on who wants it more. It's not about who I don't know, you have your Killer Miller in your squad or whoever. It depends on who wants it more on the day. So at the end of the day, South Africa, so far, they've showed that, we came to win this series.
Oh yeah, and one of the other things I would want to point out, I mean, many of us were saying, no, Rohit Sharma is struggling, Virat Kohli is struggling. Vanana Ravindra Jadeja, Madara Akura, let's put in the youngsters. And that's apparently what Rahul Dravid, who is the current coach of India, is trying to do, fuse in the youngsters. But the youngsters themselves are coming and they're faltering. Ruturaj Gaikwad, you get out with one of 4 deliveries, and yet we know he's arguably one of the more dangerous players, like from Chennai Super Kings. Once he gets going, he can be lethal. But now,
like I said,
international cricket becomes a different ball game altogether. So I think at the end of the day, I'm now calling for Rahul Dravid. I'm an Indian.
Lost to South Africa.
Look. South Africa is not a minnow, yes, but India on home turf, we all know what they can do and what they have done to previous teams. Chero vanana Australia vanoenda vachino bubunwa kuiko India, but
best teams lose all the time, like Liverpool losing to Real Madrid.
Nah. You see, it had to go all the way back there. But in any case, South Africa are leading the 5-match series 2-0. India can still come back into this. They do have some match winners in the likes of Hardik Pandya, Rishabh Pant, also able to do the business. Other youngsters who also had a decent performance yesterday. Shreyas Iyer, we all know how he controls the innings at the top of the order. So hopefully they will come to the party and that everything will go well. Well, it leaves us to say thank you very much for joining us. Our resident analyst, Sydney Samanu. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Rumbo Chakoreka. I'm your host. Make sure you like, you share, you comment, you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sports Extra ZW, and also on our Facebook and Instagram platforms. Come on, let's get the likes up. Let's get the followers up. Thank you so much for all of the support, and we look forward to more of it happening. And it just leaves me to say, it's time up. Cheerio.